back to the start of where it all began for you.
Well, what do we see? It's a long time here, and asking me to go back a long time in my memory. So I suppose this current campaign, probably 2000, you're looking at 2010, you know, so I suppose in me, that's when we won the first Ulster final. That's when I suppose the seat was so in their head that we could actually be a real professional outfit here. We could go on and maybe win in All Ireland, which is something that every player in their own club, you know, it really is a dream at that stage, you know. So when we won in 2010 Ulster, I mean, I will never forget the game. I think most of the reporters on the day had wrote us off, and you know, Geraldine got a goal in the dying seconds of the game, and what do you know, we were Ulster champions for the first time ever. And at that stage, I think that's when the belief set in. You know, we then came down, we got a fixture at the Warren Road, and All Ireland semi-final, which was a huge occasion for us. Massive for the club alone, and the people in the club and the people supporting us, and even for ourselves as players. And I suppose we were very green maybe going into that, because such a massive stage, you know, we were on that day in front of a lot of people, and a very, very young team, you know, that were just coming along. But we only lost out by 2 or 3 points in the day. We were hugely disappointed, to say the least, you know. But at that stage, you know, we had a chat after the game, do you remember? And what we'd said then was that we can actually go one way, you know. And it wasn't until 4 years later that dream actually became a reality for us. And I suppose we've been pushing on since. So for me, anyway, I suppose 2010 was.
And you were the captain of that team. What did that mean for you to captain Termon? Not even just to Donegal, because that was a big thing for you first of all, to win Donegal.
Yeah.
But to then captain to win an Ulster title, I mean, it was a bit of a whirlwind few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, that was the first time for the club that I had been captain, and I suppose I was probably one of the more experienced players in that time. Like, to be captain, it's a massive thing for the team, you know, and you have to be able to focus on your own game as well as trying to inspire the players around you as well. So I thought that if I could do the work on the field and you know, maybe try and inspire them off the field, and you know, it's all about the team talks and, you know, trying to gear them up for a game. And I guess what the experience that I had playing with county and playing for the club for a number of years, coming through junior, we went from junior straight into, I suppose, intermediate maybe and into senior, and there was a lot of games, and I've been through a lot, so you know, maybe I had a lot to offer. And for me it was hugely special to win an Ulster, the first Ulster title, to come into the club. It was just a massive thing at the time, you know. Maybe I didn't believe that we could do it, but with a bunch of players that we had at the time, it would have probably been detrimental if we didn't do it. It would have been just a crime nearly if we hadn't pushed on and on. Geraldine was only around 15 at the time as well, same age, like Nicole McLaughlin, and younger, like, so when you're talking about young players like that, and myself and Granny McDade was probably the oldest, and Sharon, we were in 30s at that stage. I was 31 at that stage, I would say around that. So, you know, when you're playing with people, as they would say, you're half my age, or I'm half your age, Mo, you know, and it was a bit of a joke, but at the same time, you need that balance in the team. The youth looking up to the older experienced players, but it wasn't long after that these become older experienced players, and they're still in their 20s and they have huge experience behind them as well. So, you know.
Emer, it's hard to believe, like, just of so many big games. I mean, these are all still young women, and you go back 9 years, you're a 15-year-old, you're playing here, you're maybe not even thinking about winning Donegal, and all of a sudden within a few weeks you're an Ulster champion. Is that hard to process as a 15, 16-year-old?
Well, I guess, I suppose we really did have to grow up fast. You know, we were put into positions, it's not like, you know, you were a sub coming onto the team. Like, we were all starting in, like, you know, cornerback, fullback, midfield, full forward positions, and you know, you really just did have to settle into the seniors and forget about your own age group and stuff. And like, you know, in turn, like, at our own age group, playing for seniors stood to us so much, and is the reason why, like, a lot of us girls started playing for Donegal seniors at such a young age, because we had that, you know, time from playing for seniors here in Termon as well. And like, it's definitely stood to us in every aspect of our game. And like, you know, looking back now, like, you think, God, you know, I've actually been playing, you know, seniors for Termon for 10 years, and I suppose when everything like that, you must think, you know, we're ancient, but you know, we're all still 25, 26 years old, and you would think we might have another good 10 years in us yet at this stage. But no, like it was unbelievable starting at that young age, and I would definitely recommend to any young person, like, you know, if they get the chance to play at that young level at a senior team, like, you know, to go for it, because the experience is invaluable. Like, we learned so much from those games. Like, of course, winning our first senior title for Donegal was unbelievable. And I suppose, you know, the older girls in the team would have always been saying, look girls, every game from here on out is a bonus, you know, take every game as it comes. So we kind of were, you know, we were going into games, you weren't nervous because you were just told to go and do your best. So I suppose it was the belief that we actually had in ourselves going out in the Ulster final that year, that, you know, it doesn't matter what the result is, like, we can go out and just do our best. So to actually win the game in the end was phenomenal. And, you know, I'll never forget that feeling here in Brum Road for the All-Ireland semi-final. You know, halfway through the game, we only got the belief that we could win, and, you know, that feeling of running yourself into the ground whenever, whenever the final whistle went, and actually kind of looking back and thinking, why didn't we have that belief from the start of the game? Like, we could have been in an All-Ireland final. So I think, we learned so much in 2010, 2011. You know, we didn't even win Donegal, but, you know, it has, you know, that All-Ireland campaign coming up to us winning in 2014, like, it was a 5-year period. And, you know, it was complete dedication for those 5 years. So it's not like a 1-year thing where you can just go out and win All Ireland. It is a complete campaign, and this is definitely part 2. Yeah. We like to think of it anyway.
Has it been hard to come back, you know, 5 years on now? I found it very hard to believe there a few weeks ago when I realised, geez, 5 years since Termon won. But you're coming back now with sort of a new group of people coming in as you were, the 15, 16-year-old. Was it hard to come back and find those levels again?
Well, I suppose we definitely did go through 2 or 3 years of building. Like, you know, there was a lot of, people that were going off to do their own thing, which is understandable because we had given it 5 or 6 good full years of complete dedication, you know, sacrificing holidays, you know, not going to weddings, you know, yourself. So, you know, people left the panel and there was a massive, you know, outing. Like, we almost lost, I'd say, maybe 12, 13 of our players. So it did take us a few years to build again, you know, bringing in new girls, trying to bring them up to that level. You know, sometimes we did forget ourselves that, you know, these girls have never experienced something like this before, and, you know, it's going to take them a little while to get used to it. And I think this year is the first year that we can really say that everyone has completely bought into it. There's been a great group of young girls that have come up there now that have just settled into the way of training, settled into what's expected of them, and, you know, they are Termon ladies now. Like, you know, we've been there, we've done that. You know, of course, we're still flying the flag, but it's these younger girls that are coming up through the ranks that are like the spirit of Termon, and like are the reason that we've been doing so well as we have, because they have that passion that we had whenever we were 15 and 16 years old, and they have that bite. And whenever they're bringing them to training, it just makes us all remember what it was like then too, and it just kind of, there's a perfect blend then of youth and experience, and it's really why we've done so well so far.
Go back even further, 2001, 2002, 2003. You played in the Donegal team that won 3 in a row Ulster Juniors. First 2 years of that you were with St Macartans. Then 2003 you see Termon beside your name. Like, that in itself sort of shows how, I mean, that's still quite a short space of time where the ladies football was obviously at that stage only getting up and going here.
That's right, you know, thinking back on that, you know, Termon, we had folded as a club back then, and it's a huge loss to, you know, me as a player, having played for Termon for so long and then not having a ladies team, you know. I mean, the next senior club closest to me, I suppose, was St Macartans at the time. So I played there and won a couple of county finals. You know, the girls will joke about, you know, me playing for other clubs and, you know, I have more clubs than any golf player or whatever, but the reality of it is, winning with your own club, the fact that in 2003 was a really special year for me, being back with my own club in Termon. I think we won a junior title not so long after that, and also we won for Donegal. We were in Cropart that year and we beat, you know, the All-Ireland Junior, so it was an absolutely fantastic year for me personally. But I suppose that made it be back playing your own club. There's nothing beats playing with your club. Now, it's a fantastic achievement, and it's a great honour to be able to play for your county as well. But it's just different, like the experience of playing with your own club and your friends, your mates, in your own community. Like, nothing beats that. So 2003, yeah, you're talking about, I suppose when you look back at that, we really worked hard for them as a club to get the ladies team back. You know, when it was hard to get the numbers out and maybe there wasn't as many girls around at that stage, like, you know, the next crop of players to come along, it really was tough. That had a huge effect. It was around 2009 when I got back, things were starting to perk up. There were a lot of the younger girls like Nicole, Emer, Geraldine, Roisin Young, Niamh Frail, they were all coming into the panel, a serious group of players, Robin McCaffrey, Tracy McCaffrey, like players that really were passionate about the game and their commitment levels of training. For me as an older player then thought, you know what, there's definitely a great team here, and there was a great team forming around there. And as Emer said, like from that on then, you know, we worked extremely hard and we stayed together as a group of players, and I suppose we thought there was something special coming along. Going on to that Ulster final, I don't know whether we believed or not that we could beat Termon, to be honest, on the day, but we worked our socks off on that pitch that day. We never gave up, and we ended up coming away with a maybe 1 point, 2 point victory that day. As I said, people wrote us off, but the belief that filtered throughout the team then, and I think, you know, then this year now, coming back in, we kind of, after 2014, you could say that crop of players were tired. You know, they were extremely dedicated for the 4 years that led up to the All-Ireland final. You know, we thought we could give it another go, maybe retain the title, but after that, the team started to filter out, the players started to leave the panel. And, you know, no injustice to them, they needed to get away. You know, you need to take a break. I had my own breaks. You know, when girls go through that, when they have to go away and travel. And it's very, very good as well. So, you know, maybe we'll have a few more coming back into the panel this year. But we are certainly a team rebuilding at the minute. A team in transition. There's another new group of younger players coming in, but it's going to take a few years to build on that as well. So, and you know, the two boys that are with us, Sean, I suppose, a brother of mine, and Nathan, have put a huge amount of work into it this year, and they have made us believe in ourselves again as well. And when you see a management team coming in and they're passionate about it and they want to win as well, you know, and that filters throughout the team. And that filters through the hard work of the team as well, to see that they put on a lot of work, and it means a lot to them, and we mean a lot to them as well within the club. So that definitely helps to Chris to build on a team, to build for the future.
Emer, you're part of, I suppose, the golden generation here of players who came in that time. Just go back a wee bit further before 2010. When did you first lace up a pair of boots and realise, geez, this is actually something I'm quite good at?
Oh God, I didn't know, to be honest. I suppose I would have started with the parish leagues here in Termon as far back, and also up at school. I went to Termon National School. So, you know, we always said in Termon, you know, if you didn't play football, there was nothing for you, because Christy Gillespie is one of the main reasons why there is such a good ladies team here in Termon, with himself and Harry McGlynn, you know, the McGlyns and Christy himself. Like, you know, we had no other choice really but to play football, because we were playing football at lunchtimes, at school, you know, everyone was playing football, so it was just the thing to do, you know, socially. And then, you know, there was the great setup here, you know, the Harry and Maura, and they just had that, you know, lovely like motherly and fatherly sort of connection with all of us whenever we were growing up. And I have such good memories from whenever I was younger, you know, going to the field down in Limerick and, you know, around the country as well. And, you know, at that time, we got to the All-Ireland Fela semi-final and we lost it, and it was something that none of us has ever forgotten. And I think sometimes, you know, a big loss is far better for you than, you know, a big win, because it always made us want to work harder, and, you know, if we were in a position to win a big cup, that, you know, we would make sure that we did it. So we had a lot of success at, you know, the Common One School, you know, throughout the years as well. And I suppose being just the year below Geraldine McLaughlin at school is always a great thing, because it means you're always in her age group and always in her team. So, you know, she always was a great help to be on the winning team as well. So I think just from that, like, you know, all my friends were always playing football, you know, the area that I'm from, you know, we all play football. So I suppose it was just a massive social thing for us really. And look at us all now, like, you know, I do play on the team with my best friends, and, you know, that is one of the main reasons why we've been so successful over the years. So.
I said this to someone a couple of weeks ago. You gave one of the best speeches that I've ever heard after the county final. It wasn't just that you had touched on everything, but you could see what it meant to you and to the players as you were speaking. That this year, in many ways, was that win over Glenfin one of the very high points even ranked against what you've achieved 2010, 2014?
Yeah, definitely. Like I definitely got a touch or two about that speech about the length of it, but I think I said all I needed to say now in it. But definitely, like, we came into the senior team when things were going well, and we definitely bought into that winning spirit, and like we were so successful. And of course we had games where we didn't win, but we went through a few years there where we were winning absolutely nothing, and it was the first time we were really ever in that position, for my generation, that we had to, pull it out of the bag and, really dig deep to try and pull a team together and get numbers together and, try and convince girls to come. Like, that had never happened to us before. In 2010, 2015, like, you just always had a team. People were always, dying to be there, and you never had to do that. So it was definitely a new experience, for those three or 4 years. We were going down, we were losing to Glenfin all the time, and we just couldn't get our mojo back, as you'd say, And I think, like, especially last year, like in that county final, like we felt that we'd thrown that game away. Like, we had the beating of Glenfin, and Yvonne had got that last minute goal, and we'd lost the final, so we felt that we were so close, and we had to wait a full year to be back in that position again. So I think, especially with the circumstances, with Danny O, really gutted for us to bring him back to Termon this year. I think we had a real, we really just had to do it. We had no other choice but to win it this year, so it was a very special one, yeah.
Sometimes though, things like that can become, you can get weighed down with, like, you have to channel that in a real positive way, or it can have a really negative effect as well. You have to find a nice balance with that.
Oh, definitely, and we definitely have used it at the right times this year as well. Like, it's not something that we would ever put pressure on the girls, and of course, people are very emotional when it comes to that sort of stuff. And Danny O was a hugely positive person, when it came to our football, and he was a massive advocate for Termon ladies. So we just had to remember, the good times, and I suppose how much passion that he had for us as a team of girls. And like, whenever someone has that belief in you as a team, it kind of makes you think, well, do you know what, if someone believes in us that much, then there's a reason for it. So we definitely were able to bring it on the big games this year, and like, it was just fantastic to see the bite that the younger girls had in those big games as well. So I think he would have been very proud.
Yeah, you're talking about the balance, I suppose we have it on the jerseys, on the side of the jerseys as well, how his name, it's just a little reminder to us, but as Emer says, we don't use it all the time. We know what Daniel meant to us, and he meant a huge amount to all of us here in the club, and maybe in his memory we go out every day and we try to play our best, because we know he'd always be there for us no matter what. And he was a huge part of that All-Ireland success as well. Like, he was the chairman at the time, and he made sure that we wanted for nothing, and everything was very professional. And Danny will never be forgotten from the club, and I think his memory will be linger on for a long, long time. He was an important guy and always had a huge laugh. And yeah, I guess he was maybe a bit instrumental in trying to get us back to winning form this year. We'd seen that the gap was there, and it was now time to come. And I suppose he watches a lot of the underage players as well coming through, so he knew that there was a good few of those ready to step up to the mark as well. But yeah, the balance, I think the balance is, we're getting it right this year. Things are going good so far for us.
Your role has changed quite significantly since 2010. Talk to me about coming back as a goalkeeper. I mean, that can't be taken lightly. I mean, it's a complete specialised position, and here you are playing it and not a bother on you.
No, well, I wouldn't say not a bother, to be honest. I go home after every match and I'm completely drained, and someone would say, well, how could you be drained? You mean you're standing in the nets? But I think, I've always have had nerves going into matches, but I've been able to channel the nerves and run them out of myself, But when I'm standing in goals, it's I think people underestimate the job that is a goalkeeper's job. It's a tremendously pressured job when you're in there, and when the ball goes into the back of the net, it doesn't matter if there's 14 players in front of you, you tend to take the blame yourself personally. So you've got to get over that in the spot. And for me, for years, if I would miss a free or I would have a passage of play, I could say to myself, right, get on with it, let's go. But you let it go and you're thinking, that goal was 3 points. Our game could end by us losing by 3 points, and you know, you're thinking about that, so you have to clue in straight away, you have to try and get the next kick off out. So, you know, my hat goes off to the keepers out there, because I think they don't get enough credit for the position they're in. Having had the experience this year now of filling goals, I thought, to be honest, at the beginning, this will be a piece of cake. It'll be grand. Sure, what if I do when I kick out the ball and keep the nets, you know, with our defensive setup, you know, as well. You know, you think that the ball will never come near me as well, but it does at times. There's the loopy ball, and there's the ball over the head. The goalposts are quite high. The goals are seriously wide. And, you know, unless you have any sort of experience at all in it, it's a difficult position to play. So, but my deal at the start of the year was I'll, you know, come back. Obviously, I'm trying to retire. It's not going down too well. But I had a 2-year period where I didn't play, and Sean took over and he asked me to come back. So I said I will come back. You know, I suppose it's hard to let it go, to be honest. It's just hard to let it go. When things are good, and I suppose you're able to play, and you're still able to do that wee bit. I would be very competitive in my mind as well, and you know, I'm out of training, and I nearly pushed myself too far and too hard. But that's the level you need to get to when you're in games like this.
You must see a ridiculous change in how teams are prepared. Like, if you go back even to that period, 2001, 2002, to now, in terms of how, even just how serious people are taking it, there must be a difference in night and day.
Oh, absolutely, it's massive. Like, you know, you did your training sessions back there was no nutrition, there was no strength and conditioning, there was none of that, you know, there was none of this team talks, the video analysis, the statistics that go on throughout a game, there was none of that. It's all about that, and even Emer will tell yourself, she's been involved in county teams now. It's all, you're stepping up to county level. You know, we'd almost say ourselves that in Termon that we're training equally as hard, if not harder at times, when you're pushing on from at club level. It's massive. The change from back 2003 till now, you know, you put your life on hold, as Emer said, like, you know, your weddings, your events, your 21st that you're attending back there, your 18th, your 30th, you really have to, you look at them and you cancel them out. The training just becomes a priority, because when you've won an All-Ireland and you know what it takes to get to that, and you're talking 4 or 5 nights a week, you're seeing your club mates nearly 7 nights a week, and you're seeing very little of anybody else, you know, and you're very well gelled as a team of players. You practically living with these players, you know, and you know how they play on the field, you know what upsets them, what annoys them, you know how much, you know, to be able to take out of them, you know, and that's what it takes. It's team spirit, and it's your nutrition, your sleep, you know, your rest, hugely important too when you can get it, and trying to balance your work life, your school life. It's just massive. The commitment levels, I actually don't know if people see how serious it is, or get it, how serious it is, the commitment that you have to go to. You know.
Do you think about that, Emer? I mean, you're on a fairly successful county panel now. You'll not be long finished with terminals back in. Like, there's no break at all now for the club county player. It's just a 12-month cycle.
Oh, it definitely is. You know, we are definitely on the same boat as, you know, some of the college students, you know, who are going back after a summer of county football and straight back into the college teams as well. So, you know, in one way it's great because you're going back into your pre-season in half decent shape, but I suppose you just have to be careful that, you know, you're not playing into too long of a season and, you know, risking injury and stuff then too. But, you know, you just have to be sensible, and, you know, any county team, you know, will be understanding, you know, at the end of the day they have to protect their players and to make sure that their players are going to see it through to the championship in the summer. So, like, we've never had a problem with managers not understanding, you know, our long season, and they've all been more than you know, able to help us, you know, help with an extra week's rest, or, you know, a program to help us, you know, get, you know, ourselves into shape for pre-season and stuff. So I think, you know, there hasn't ever been a problem before, but I guess some people might feel like, you know, missing out on the social side of things is always a problem, because, you know, you use that time whenever county finishes, you know, to catch up with friends that you haven't seen, or, you know, go on a holiday or spend time with family. So sometimes, you know, that stuff you definitely do have to sacrifice and miss out on some of those things, but after a while, whenever you start doing well, it doesn't really feel like a sacrifice anymore. Like, this is what you want to do, and whenever you have that vision or that goal of where you want to get to, everything else does come second anyway. You know, it never, people don't ever have to talk about bans or not going out at weekends. It's just, you just expect it from yourself, and you do expect it from your teammates as well. Like, you know, I think we would be harder on each other than the managers would be on us sometimes, and we do have, you know, high expectations of our players. You know, that if they were, you know, away at college, like, we expect them to do their own training, you know, keep up their own gym program, so that they can, you know, slot back into the team at the weekend, because that's the only way it's going to be successful. And everyone really has to have the same end goal, and everyone really does have to sing up the same hymn sheet as well. So
yeah, I think that, like, you touched on his family there and friends, like, and the consolation to that, I suppose, that, you know, we never really think about it because they're all theirs, but on, say for example now at the weekend, in Ulster semi-final, our families are behind us all the way, like, and they've been out supporting our games, so you really are, you're spending time with family and friends, you're playing along with your friends, and your family are just, you know, it's as big a deal to them as it is to you, because, you know, maybe even more, like, you know, they look forward so much to what's going on out the weekend, and for the game to be at home as well, they're just extra excited about the whole thing. As a full community, like, it's like you're playing with your family and friends, so you're getting as much time out of that as you can as well.
definitely.
We saw here, like, even, like, there was a programme of senior men's championship games on that last time we played Clonairon here. It was a huge crowd. You're home again on Sunday. Can you take home advantage lightly? I mean, it has to mean so much to us.
Oh, massive. Yeah,
It's
it's
a
definitely
massive
worth a few points anyway. Like, just like people always say that the 16th man or the 16th player, and you never understand that until you're playing at home. And you know, there was times in games that we played in the past, and just, we know the pitch so well. This is where we train, this is where we trained all of our lives. Like, we know it inside out. And also, whenever things, you know, another team has a purple patch or things aren't going our way, like, the fact that our crowd, our supporters, our family get behind us all the time, it's always worth a few points.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said last weekend, there was a huge amount of matches on the county, so it was very hard for people to spread themselves over the ones that they actually wanted to go and see, and you know, but there was still a massive crowd on the day, and maybe the fact that we were that little bit ahead, you know, at times we would have said we wouldn't have heard the crowd as much, but maybe the game just wasn't as critical as some of our games have been. Like the county final, you definitely heard the crowd getting behind you. It was such a tight game, it could have went any way, and you know, the crowd are nervous as well. But for anybody like that follows the ladies football within the county, I think it's a fantastic thing that the game's at home for them as well, because if there is another fixture on the day, you know, it's easier to get to that rather than spending the whole day travelling somewhere in Ulster. So it's great for them too. You know, we've great crowd of supporters in our own gang anyway, like, and then there's a lot of people throughout the county which are, you know, love to come along, and they'll be supporting us on the day, and hopefully we can, you know, progress maybe into another step on the way into the final. But it's definitely an advantage for us.
Do you still get the same buzz about pulling on the jersey and going out there to play?
There's no doubt about it. You know, I'm super excited about Sunday. Just, I'm really, really lucky, I suppose, to be back playing with the girls, you know, that I'm able to play, you know. Somebody says to me, play as long as you can, and you know, maybe they're right, play as long as you can, as long as you can pull on the jersey, but it's a big honour for me to be going out now on Sunday into an Ulster semi-final, regardless of, you know, whether I'm in goals or whether I'm out the field or whether I'm on the sub bench. Just to be a part of it, to be a part of the club, and to be a part of the team. You know, my friends, I suppose I'm going out to play along with maybe as friends, and there's nothing that beats that on any given Sunday.